You're tuned into Inside Lowell. Inside Lowell podcast brought to you in part by Washington Savings Bank, serving the greater Lowell community for over 130 years. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. Reverie 73, Lowell's #1 cannabis shop. Elevate your cannabis experience at Reverie 73. Hafner's, heating and cooling homes and businesses for nearly a century. Hafner's, it kicks. And by Boston North Company, restaurant and retail solutions for your business. That's Boston North. And now, time for another Inside Lowell podcast. Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place.
Hello, I'm Jim Campanini, and welcome to the Grapefully Yours Wine Podcast, coming to you from the very cool and comfortable InsideLowell.com studios in downtown Lowell. I'm the co-host of the show, and sitting in the corner, off camera, is the wine butler, Mike Pigeon. Producer of the show is Teddy Panos, and our special guest in studio today is interior designer extraordinaire Debbe Daley, born and bred right downtown in Lowell, and she's been just tearing up the interior design world for over 2 decades. I first met Deb when I was the editor of The Sun. She was just so passionate about what she wanted to do. She sold me on writing a column. And she started writing a column in the newspaper. Little did I know it would become one of the most read articles in the newspaper. Then she had almost a full page.
I know it just expanded, but thank you so much for that opportunity. It was just fantastic. I remember coming to your office. I remember I was writing for the Merrimack Journal and Tony Ziegas had passed away. I'm like, where am I going to write now? Well, I live in the building. I might as well just go down and see Jim. So that's what I did. And you were so kind. You were like, oh, this is great, Deb. Great stuff. He's like, do you think you can write a blog once a week and we'll send the videographer around with you to your projects? I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And it became this whole another job. But it was so much fun. And I can't even tell you when I stopped writing, I don't know, that was not 10 years, but a long time, 7, 8. People would come up to me and say, oh my gosh, that Friday paper is yours is like the best column in the paper. Now we miss it. People would say, I'd commute to Boston on the train and I would read the paper. I would look forward to it. Now there's nothing.
Well, the interesting thing back then was there was the big condo boom going on in Lowell and downtown, and people were always looking for ideas, and you just fit that niche right in there because you were given design ideas. You had your business going, was just starting out, and I mean, you were giving away a lot of free information. But I used to say, boy, if she ever starts a business and starts getting paid for it, I'm going to own stock in this company and stuff. And eventually you did do that, and you still continue to write and give tips. But you really, your career blossomed.
Yeah, but that was you. You gave me that opportunity and the audience was there craving that information. And it's not just a little column that you can write because one thing, you give one tip, it leads to another, it leads to another. I would get emails and then I would get some hate mail, on certain things. And I'm like, what? They didn't like that because it was the winter berries are poisonous and they strangle the rest of the forest. And I was like, they're like, you can't write about that. You need to take that down. I'm like, I'm not taking it down. I mean, it's what we do. It's what we decorate with. We're not eating them.
But the thing that was so fascinating about you, and I didn't really know anything about interior design and everything, my wife Mary Lee had an eye for some of that stuff, but you followed the non-traditional route. You loved it. I mean, it's not like you went to the schooling. Your schooling was on the ground. You learned on your own. You persevered. And Deb wrote a book that came out in 2022, Interior Motives. It's a great book because it describes her passion, her drive, her determination to do it in a non-conformist style. But I think to all these other interior designers, both men and women, who thought that they had to go to Martha Stewart school and stuff. I mean, yeah, that's good for some people, but if people just want to learn some things about and then take their passion. This book explains the ebbs, the flows, the ups, the downs, and even your
personal life. It's all in there.
Personal life, but it's a true story. It's authentic. There's no bull crap in here, because we know Deb. And what she talks about Lowell, what she went through, some of the first jobs she had. It is really an inspiring thing. Talk about her daughter, her breakup of her first marriage, and then the love of her life she found, and she remarried. I mean, it's just a fantastic read in an authentic style. But the two words that kept coming up in this from her father, from her, stubborn and passionate.
Well, Teddy would know that because he's Greek too.
And where could people get a copy of this?
On Amazon.
They
just can go on Amazon, and it's Interior Motives: Designing a Career with Passion. Yeah.
Why don't you just briefly the inspiration for this book?
So I was before this book came out, I was trying to write this book because I felt a lot of my students, because I teach interior design, would come to me, and the first thing I would ask them is, well, why do you want to be an interior designer? And well, we've been following you for a while, and we know that you are a single mom, and the divorces, and I don't think I can't afford to go back to college to do this, and I want to do this. I'm changing my career, and it was the same answer all the time. And I said, you know what? People look at me now and they're like, wow, she's really established, and she has this, and she did that, and she's doing this. And that's not how it started. And I really wanted to write it for women to be inspirational and to motivate them to follow their passion, no matter what it is. An artist, it's tough being an artist. And my husband calls me an artist all the time because I'm always creating. I'm on the paddleboard, I'm collecting sea glass, I'm tying up a tree trunk and dragging it back to the shore. So I really wanted it to motivate other women to know that through the negativity that comes from people saying that you can't do this, no one's going to pay you to do this, which happened quite a bit for me, that you can do it. And you have to be motivated. And if you love something so much, your career, your passion, and art, my nephew, now he's a tattoo artist, but he has an art degree and he's installing art, but that's what he loves to do. And he's a musician. So I just love that he's doing all these things because he loves doing it, and it comes back to what you really like to do for you to be happy. And so that's really was the motivation, was other women coming to me. And also, with my daughter, who now is in her third year, Krista, in her third year of law school at New England Law.
Wow.
After a total change of career. And, it's hard, at her age to do this, but she's doing it and she's good at it. And just motivation for her, that you really don't have to depend on anyone else, but put yourself out there and work in the field that you like. Do it I worked 4 jobs. I worked in flooring, wallpaper, furniture, paint. I wanted to learn the industry. And that's really how I got to write for the Lowell Sun, Huffington Post,
And you never forget your roots. I mean, Deb bought a condo in Lowell years ago. She used it both as a studio and everything. She still has a place that she uses it for some classes. Teaches at Middlesex Community College, which I want to talk a little about that. And if you read this book, you learn about the Cedar Bungalow, which she found in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, renovated it. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a tiny little, postage size stamp lot, but it's quiet. No one even knows where we are.
Yeah, the Adirondack chairs. I saw the photos. And were you married there too?
I did. So we got married at St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church in Portsmouth, and we were supposed to get married the year of COVID. We've been together for 12 years now, so it wasn't like, I think we're going on our second. I don't know. My anniversary's next week. I don't know, 2-3 years. So my husband had never been married before, no kids. His mother wanted to have this wedding, and I just want to go to the church and get married and have our family. So because of COVID, we had to postpone twice. And then we got to have what we wanted on our front yard. And we had a lobster bake. And it was 34 people, family members. And it was great. And yes, at the end of the day, yes, I'm sitting on the little beach that we have with my dad, and he's still giving me advice, So he's like, are you happy, Deb? That's all that matters.
Yes.
So
that's how the book closed.
Excuse me. It was great. It was great. I never would have ever expected him to do that. I was the first one in my family of first generation, Greek Orthodox. My father came over here when he was 9, but I was the first one in our whole extended family to get divorced, which was to tell your father.
Traumatic. I was the first one in my family too. So.
It's not easy.
I know.
But then it came easier after the second one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been married 34 years to the wine goddess.
She's beautiful.
The first one lasted 5 years, but I learned a lesson, I guess.
And she's spunky. I love her.
She is.
Yeah.
So what type of wine did you serve at the wedding? Did you serve wine or champagne?
We had wine. I don't know. There were many bottles of wine.
Huh? White, red, both?
We had both. Yeah. I'm a red wine drinker.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law loves white wine. So we had both. Good. And what did we have? So we hired the bartender from, at the time, in Newington, Moko. It was a Japanese restaurant. We would go there all the time. And so we hired David to come be the bartender. And he was awesome. So he went and bought all the, everything. And we had that at the house. And we love red wine. We drink a bottle of wine every night with dinner.
Nice.
Or out to eat or whatever.
Beautiful.
But I like white wine too, and I like rosés. So.
We used to do that. Now we're living in moderation. My doctor says I got to make it to 80. He says then I can smoke cigars and drink all that I want. So now we're limited to 2 glasses a piece a night. But when you drink 2 glasses a piece, there's only this much left in a bottle of wine.
So you have to finish it. We do the same thing.
One of us does. One of us does.
My husband would say, well, what's in the wine cabinet? Do we have any more? I'm like, yes. He's like, well, let's just open another bottle. I'm like, it's Monday nights. We need to get through the week.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk a little about, first of all, if I would approach you, because Deb does a lot of residential, she does commercial, but she basically focuses on residential designs and stuff. If I would call you and say, gee, I want you to come and look at my space and everything else, what's the first thing that you do when you meet a new client? I mean, it's not Debbie Daley's ideas initially, right? I mean, you got to find out the personality.
Yeah. So we have initial call. We'll set up an initial call if they send me an email, or they call me, and we discuss what they want to do, what their priorities are, what their style is, what is the project. Set up an appointment. So we'll set up for an in-home consultation. And that way I get to see their space, what they like first. Now, lots of times they tell you what they want. So for instance, they'll say it's a living room. I know gray is going out and everything is gray. Like, what colors are coming in? I really want to make it warm and inviting. I was like, well, tour me around your house first so I can see what you like. And the best thing to do is look in people's closets. Then you can see what colors they are, what they wear.
There's some skeletons.
Mike. But the questions are, is there a family living here? How many eat dinner here? What do you do in the family room? What functions go on? Are they playing video games? Are they watching movies? Are you entertaining? Are you empty nesters? Do you have pets? Do the pets go on the sofa? Because you need to know what kind of fabrics and performance fabrics and what they're looking for specifically. So that is the first meeting. And then I would go back and put a proposal together. It might be renovating. It might be project management that I'm doing with the contractors.
Have you ever done a wine cellar? You just did a music room. I saw
Our
that.
own music
Your
room.
own
That's
music
going to be
room.
published in Forbes today, I think.
Forbes?
Yeah.
But it's on Facebook. You put it on, I saw
You're
it
right.
on
So,
Facebook.
so how that came up was in one of my private Facebook groups for interior designers. There is an author and a writer for Forbes, and because she's also a designer, a certified kitchen designer. So I guess I missed it. She put it out there. We need a music room. I'm doing music there. She does counseling and therapy and wellness. That's kind of her business. So she was looking to write an article, and she has a Clubhouse forum. So they were doing that, and that's tomorrow, that Clubhouse forum, on wellness in home music spaces. So someone told someone who told someone who told her, and she kept sending me messages. I'm like, Jamie Gold. So she's like, I heard that you're a musician, and your husband is a musician, and you did a music room in your house. I said, well, we did, but we're in the process of really finishing it off. And she's like, well, I have a Clubhouse forum, and we're doing a meeting, and I would love to publish my article, with some photography and your input. So anyway, that's what happened. And we had a photo shoot last week, and we had a full push of 3 days. I said, I can't get my paper hanger to come. We had defective wallpaper for the music room. And my husband's really into design, so he likes to be involved, like you were when we did your house, right? So he likes to be involved in the decision. So bluegrass cloth, and it came in defective. We are not going to make it. So I call up my paper hanger and painter. I'm like, hey, John, like, do you think it can come like next Monday? I need it done by Wednesday. I need a photo shoot done by Wednesday night. I need the photos back by Wednesday night, and I have to submit them, by Thursday at close of business day. He's like, all right, Deb. He's like, I'll fit you in. So 3 days, 7:30. He was there from 7:30 to 4 o'clock. 3 days, we got it done. We got the photo shoot done. He left 2 hours before the photographers came, and it was so much fun.
So how can people watch that video? Because I saw it on mine because I follow you and stuff.
I did do the video because I did the video on LinkedIn. I posted it there. I posted it on my private Facebook page, Debbe Daley, and it's on Instagram. I don't know which photograph she's publishing in the Forbes article today. And I'm on a forum with my husband is a student now at Berkeley College for music composition. And he does that online as he runs his own company. I'm like, he's like me, we just never stop. So there's also a professor from Berkeley that's on the forum that she's going to be talking about music. She's a music therapist. And there's also an acoustic designer who's going to be on the Clubhouse meeting as well.
Well, I imagine if you track down Debbe Daley, you can find it. This is her information, Debbe Daley, without the I.
No I.
Okay? Debbe Daley Designs. There's her website, www.debbedaleydesigns.com, her telephone number, and her email address. Okay? I'll have this information on my column and stuff. But you can also take 2 of her classes at Middlesex Community College. Now, she's got a 101 class for just people who want to learn a little about interior design, get some tips. And then there's more advanced for people who might want to make it a career. So why don't you just tell us briefly about that while I open this bottle of nice Cava.
And I love the wine glasses. These are great.
Of course.
So I do teach interior design at Middlesex Community College in the continuing education class. And I teach in the fall, for the fall semester. It's Interior Design 101. I believe they just made the link live at Middlesex Community College. And it's for anyone who wants to take an interior design class, who wants to learn the 5 basic elements of interior design, which what we do is how to choose paint color, designing a room from scratch, so you learn some software, how to measure, custom window treatments, and shopping frugally. So that is the Interior Design 101 class. And if you Google, I think, Interior Design, Middlesex Community College, it'll probably come up. That starts the end of September. And then we do a more intense certificate class, Interior Design certificate course at Middlesex Community College, which is going to be next spring. And that one is for anyone who wants to get in the business, anyone who wants to get a certificate in interior design. We cover, it's a 6-course intensive course that we go into people's homes. You learn how to do a consultation. You learn how to do a paint consultation. You meet the client. You meet the vendors. We do a field trip to the Boston Design Center. So, and then at the end of the course, we talk about all of the business aspects. What kind of accounting software to use, what kind of project management software to use, how to run a project for remodeling. And then we talk about marketing and how to market your business. And so, that one, we aren't running this spring, but we'll be running I mean, this fall we'll be running next spring.
So the bulletin for upcoming classes for Middlesex Community College just came out. You can go online, Middlesex Community College website, and track all this down. You should do it now. I'm sure Debbie's classes fill up pretty quickly. So you should do that, and maybe get to know Debbie. And learn some tips, even if you're not going on into the industry, as a career. It's still an exciting class, and you're furthering your education. So it's beautiful. Now I know at some point we're going to talk about wine on this show.
I know.
But you also mentioned. Remember the time you had the conference and you invited me to go and speak?
Yes.
And where was that?
We had the conference at the UMass Lowell Conference Center, and that was for Association of Design Education.
Yes, and the gist of it, Debbie was a pioneer, trailblazer. When all these women found out that she was marketing her own experience, and she had her own column to do it through, they would say, "Wow, how do you do that?" And stuff. So I spoke to these women, and they were from all over New England and stuff, and they were just amazed that here in Lowell, Debbie was doing her own column. She had her own marketing program. I mean, like that, and it was just fascinating to meet those people. And she made me a star in front of all these.
Yeah, you were great.
But it just, if you get a copy of the book or read the book, I mean, there's so many fascinating things and details in here and about Lowell and the design industry. I mean, we could talk for hours. High Point
Furniture Market.
High Point Furniture Market, North Carolina. You go down annually?
I go down twice a year, so I go in the spring and the fall. And this fall, I am doing a book signing and talk at the Antique and Design Center in High Point Market. And it's to the trade. So any newbies, any new interior designers who haven't been to High Point before, we do a private tour with the Interior Design Society as well. So.
And I could just say that when we bought our house in Lowell, I think it was 2006, 2007, and we wanted to change it up and talk about personality. We had gone to Italy, and naturally there's a lot of that. And at the time, there were big thing, the trend, and it was the focal wall and stuff. And Deb picked up some beautiful colors. We still have that Tuscan motif, and everybody who comes to our house sits in our fireplace room, and they just look around and they marvel at the pictures of Italy on the wall and the colors and the schemes, and we always give Deb a plug.
Thank you. But that's your design aesthetic. That's where you
yes,
are.
Design aesthetic,
and that's what you like.
Yeah.
So with the trends, and I'm not a big trend follower, although I do write on the trends. It's all about your personality and how you live and what your interests are.
But we would have never thought about having that focal wall. If it wasn't for you. Now, the other thing, we get the big chapel room, it's the A-frame ceiling. And I always said to my wife, gee, I says, I want Deb to come and design a Sistine Chapel for us. But she's holding off on that, But I said,
we can do that for you.
The ceiling with the Sistine Chapel. So I know we have to talk about wine and everything. So this is a special wine. This is a Segura Viudas. Okay, it's a Reserva. It's a Cava. It's from Spain. This is their champagne, so to speak. Okay, it doesn't have the in-bottle fermentation like champagne, but it's done basically in the same style of a Prosecco. Okay, and but look at that bottle, how beautiful it is. And since we're talking about design, I wanted to talk to Deb a little about design bottles. This, I mean, when we bring this out for parties and stuff, people look at this, and it's got a lot of heft.
It weighs a ton.
Yeah, and look at the emblem on it. I mean, it really does look prestigious on the table. It's got a green tinted bottle. Thing is, it's not very expensive. It only costs $19. You can buy this at the Wine Connection, Andover. Plus, Cava is a very refreshing, sparkling wine. It's very, very tasty, made from a variety of Spanish grapes. It's a white wine.
Nice.
Deb, I want you to taste it. Tell me what you think. Lemony, got a little citrus taste in there.
A little bit of citrus. It's light.
Very light.
Very bubbly. A little
Do you like
fruity.
it?
No, it's
Oh, it's
fruity.
fruity,
I love
yes.
it.
And it gets your taste buds. It really, I think it stimulates them. But it's a refreshing drink to have on these warm days around the pool. Now, you don't want to carry a big bottle. This bottle weighs, I think, it must weigh about 3 pounds. But it's a nice bottle to have. But why I brought it to show you, because with this bottle, you can make something of these wine bottles when you're done. If you find a wine bottle that you see, especially these rosé bottles that they have now, the French come in, they're rectangular, they're beautiful, they got all kinds of designs on them. Well, what can you do with those besides, throw them away in the trash? So the wine goddess, my wife, I bought her Wine Enthusiasts, about 5-6 years ago. They came out with bottles, with colored bottles that had lights in them, and you buy them. And I think I paid $60 for 2 bottles. I gave it to my wife for Christmas. She looked at it and she says, "How much did you pay for these?" I says, "Well, $60 for 2." She says, "I can do it for $10. I said, "What?" That's the way she thinks, So sure enough, she gets the wine bottles. She goes to the dollar store. She buys, all these little stones, the shells, and then this is the cork. See, it lights up. It's got a.
So how did she get the cork? How'd she get that?
Well, the cork comes. The cork comes like this. The cork comes with the string of lights. You buy them on Amazon. I think they're 3. You get 3 for like $20 or something for them, right? And you put these out on your table at night, even if you're having toasted cheese sandwiches. It gives you a little romantic thing. You shut off the lights. We've done it several times. Or you drink a bottle of wine. You can bring it out on the deck if you sit by the fire. So you can make this yourself and have some fun. This is a frosted bottle that she found at Savers up in New Hampshire.
Oh, my mother loves that
I think
place.
she said she paid 30 cents for the bottle. They sell everything at Savers.
I know they do. And when I need something quickly, I will run in there because people want to get rid of stuff. Some people's trash are other people's treasures. But that's a great idea. You can also use that for coastal decor.
Yeah.
On a nightstand for a nightlight.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I
And
love
if you
it.
get a string of them and you put them up on a mantle or something like that, just sit down, listen to music or whatever. It's just a nice, relaxing thing. So I've got another one that she did. This was this was for our anniversary that she made.
That is
Now it's coming
beautiful.
to pot because she said, "Oh, you're not going to show this to Deb." And I said, "Because see, she did the gold.
Oh my gosh,
she
it's
sprayed that
gorgeous.
on it. Then she found these little things. So she did this. This is for. She said, this was for one of our anniversaries. She did this.
So
Okay,
pretty.
but there are different. There's ideas that you can do, and these were rosé bottles. Because rosé bottles she finds are the most interesting. That
Talk about rosé just for a second. Whispering Angel, which I love, and there's another one that has the glass top to it.
Yes.
The glass cork top, and I can't remember which one. And
the
those bottles are pretty.
Gerard Bertrand's Côte de Roses. It's from it's a French, southern France.
Yeah.
He's got the glass cork on it
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's gorgeous. But yeah, there are so many different things you can do with the wine bottles. But I love that. Or you can put a candle.
A candle in
top
it,
of that.
same thing.
Right.
But and then this is one of my favorites, which I like. This is the one I keep in my wine cellar downstairs, and I always kept this bottle. Look at this. It's a French champagne. Okay, Bertrand.
Is that copper?
It's copper. Well, I don't think it's copper, true copper, but it's made with copper, that motif.
I love that.
And then this one, it's dark, but at night. Let me see if I can do that now. There it is. So it's a little subtle, but it really shows up at night because it's got the green tint on it, and it comes through the copper, so that the light shines off the copper.
Oh my gosh, I got to show that to Thompson Traders. They are a copper manufacturer of sinks and bathtubs, luxury. They just did our copper sailing in Sandwich, New Hampshire. But they're doing this whole barware thing now. So That's beautiful.
Yeah, so she's always coming up with different things, but I thought people could try it on your own. I mean, it's fun. Somewhere they give, I think in Westford, she showed them at the recreation center, and they did a class on it or something,
Oh,
on how to
cute.
how to
That's
do these
great.
things and stuff. And but you can do it with a lot of different things. So the design, the element. It's out there. You can be creative with anything. You don't have to. And these serve for gifts around Christmas. You know, you can make your own gifts and just give them away and stuff, and have some fun with them. So it's
Those
interesting.
are very creative.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mary Lee.
Oh yeah, yeah. So,
Beautiful.
but so Deb, what are you working on now? Tell us what you're working on now.
Let's see. I have a call this afternoon for a new facility in Woburn, a women's counseling facility that's opening October 1st. So that's to do the interiors, the finishes. So there's 6 offices and conference room, therapy room. So that's a new project. I have existing project up in Atkinson, New Hampshire, which is a whole master bedroom, master bath, master closet, break through the eaves suite. So that's another one that I've got going on. And our own 1918 Post and Beam in Sandwich, New Hampshire. That
Wow,
has been a project for 2 years.
a personal project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the intent with that is to make it an experience visit. So for a designer retreat, we took a 3-season, made it a year-round home. But it is 4 acres. So we're going to do a barn and a cutting garden and a vegetable garden and cooking classes, Greek cooking classes, for like an Airbnb, but I will host and it will be a boutique experience, so that's what we're working on to own
Beautiful.
space. Yeah.
So I recommend that you go on Amazon, get the book Interior Motives, okay, by Debbe Daley, all right, and read the book, and then look at Debbie's website, send her a note, okay, you got an email address,
No hate mail though.
ddaily,
At Daily Designs.
at dailydesigns.com. But if you really want to have some fun, take the 6 classes, 101 at Middlesex. I'm a trustee at Middlesex Community College. You know that. And but I think you'd really have some fun at that class and learn some tips. That would be a great experience, great inspiration.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay. And then, hey, you never know where it will go, because
right.
Deb started, she was in transition, and boy, she's made a great career out of it, and you're still going strong.
Anyone can do it.
And,
Thank you. Thank
yes.
you.
So until our next show, may the wine be with you.
Yes.